it seems difficult to get away from the thought that it is imaginary. But you see from the inner standpoint, you would see that it has a mighty presence and power and is very real. I wish you for about 2 minutes to feel this dazzling ray of light penetrating every atom of your being. There should be a splendid accomplishment during the next 7 weeks. The reaching out of humanity as Christmas time draws near with the already added emphasis of the Christ force enables accomplishments to take place at this time which would have before been possible. There are certain activities which must be contracted by the inner presence before the outer attention can be drawn to them. This is hard for the student to understand. The student must first reach out, and he can only reach out through his inner presence. So, I underlined that part where it's on page 190 at the bottom, where it says there are certain activities which must be contacted by the inner presence.
Contacted, right.
By the inner presence before the outer attention can be drawn to them. I underlined that point right there. And on page 191, you have to through the inner presence.
Right. So did you have confusion on what that meant?
No, that was just some main points I underlined.
So what do you think it meant?
So certain activities have to be in place,
right,
in order to reach that inner presence, in order to contact that inner presence.
Like what?
Certain activities have to be in place. First of all, just that consciousness, calling forth that consciousness, knowing the I am presence, understanding the I am presence.
Mm-hmm.
Because without that, I mean, that understanding that's one of the main contacts, to contact that inner presence.
Could you explain that a little more, Lalji? The student must reach out, but he can only reach out through his inner presence.
Well, see, our inner presence is not our ego. Our inner presence is our God self.
Okay.
But because we are God-like beings, we created that ego. We created that ego on this plane to protect ourselves. The problem was we start identifying with our ego as ourself, and we are not our ego, right? We are the God force within. We are the God force within. Only the God force could even create the ego. Brother Dave, good morning. Only the God force could even create the ego. So what we're talking about is the God self can repeat the name of God through mantra, Hare Om, I am the resurrection and the life, Om Namah Shivaya, like this. So we're reaching out like that. And each mantra repetition is extremely powerful. And like Brother Hank said, you holding a crystal by saying it, and it intensifies 600 times more. I forgot about this. And then you're meditating. Every time when I first met my guru, because we had so many powerful visions when we first started meditating. Lights, every time I meditated, there was lights coming up. And then there would be visions and this and that. Because what? Number one, we're living in this house. We're being celibate. That's another way. We're holding on to that seed, giving us the power. Because that seed goes directly up through the Shushumna into your brain. So the brain only eats semen or lasha in women, right? So now we're reaching out on another level. We wouldn't talk certain times. And, certain times some of us would go into silence for months, reaching out. The only one to hear God talk to us. And it's called the Great, Great Silence. And God would then speak to us certain things. Not all the time, but we know now we're in the house. We're rocking and rolling. Why? We are doing austerity. So as we intensify what we're doing, it's one thing to do prayer and morning, night. That's cool, or 5 times a day. That's cool. But when you're saying, I'm not going to criticize anybody anymore. I'm not going to curse anymore. I'm not going to lie anymore. In fact, I'm going to do everything that I'm going to follow the 5 yamas and niyamas, the 5 things to do and the 5 things not to do. When we're saying to ourselves, look, we are going to act in a way like we know God to act. This is why I said, let's start reading the Ramayana or the Ramacharita because the way God acts, he came to earth to give humanity the criteria for how to be God-like. It was God coming to earth as a man, right? And he showed you, just to read about him made me go, oh, wow, God is like this. So in my mind, I'm like, I want to be like that. Now, should a human being want to be like God? In my opinion, yeah. Is it easy? No. But can it be done? Yeah. Can you be compassionate to people? Can you not speak lies at all? Can you not criticize, judge, criticism, condemnation, judgment, blame of any person, place, condition, or even thing? Can we do that? The fact of the matter is, yeah. For years, I would pray, God, please give me divine character and personality. And then my mind said to me one day, do you know what this is? Do you know what divine character and personality is? Then why don't you just do it? Why don't you just do it? Why don't you be sensitive to other people? Right? Why don't you make sure you don't lie? Why don't you be celibate? Why don't you do things that you've made a habit out of in your ego? Your ego has one objective, and that is to destroy. It is not your friend. So if you move out of your ego, you are the divine. You are the divine. When the first time I did, Brother Hank was telling me, you want to go into an egoless state? And when he said that to me, oh, God, yeah. And we did the bufa. And man, I'm telling you, in that state, you automatically forgive. You automatically in a state of love. It's like, what my experience was like, I became the ocean. And I was aware of every single solitary drop in the ocean. And every drop was nothing but love. This is where we want to go. And after that, there was other spontaneous experiences without the booth or that. So when we rocking and rolling, when we in the house, not playing, doing our program 3 times a day, hitting those degrees, crushing the mantra. You do the mantra. Look, imagine you say, I am loved 10,000 times a day. I am loved 10,000 times a day. What do you think is going to happen? Now imagine saying, I hate that MF. I just can't stand that MF. 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 times a day. Very powerful, right? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think your state of consciousness is going to be like? Imagine if you're constantly lying, and most of the time for no reason. What do you think your level of consciousness is going to be like? So when it comes to a point that you can't understand certain things because you lie all the time, well, that's what you're creating in your reality. You're twisting the truth. So mathematical equations will be difficult for you to understand. Physics equations will be difficult for you to understand. These concepts that we're reading about right now will be difficult for you to understand. So what is the reason? You lie. So when you lie, you're twisting the truth. And when you twist the truth becomes obscure to you. It is difficult for you to understand. When you start to make that change, you will immediately start feeling changes. When you take vows for certain things, God will be like, okay, I'm going to test you, but you're going to get it right now. And that's how this works. And if you keep at it, in months you'll start having visions. Don't take years and all like this. In months you'll start having visions. Or maybe even days, depending on how intense you get. And this is how it works. This is that reaching out to God and what they're really trying to say that Sister Ken just read. Let's continue, Sister Ken.
Okay, so on page 191, that first paragraph, a simple but very wonderful thing is for one to give praise every night and morning for that magnificent presence of life which animates the mind and body. It is a tremendous thing to feel deeply this thanksgiving for the presence of life which holds within itself all things. Just be grateful to life for all it is and all it contains. The very presence of life enables us to do the things we are conscious of and desire to do. Because we cannot move without this presence, we cannot even think without it. So, if one would take this statement, I am the presence thinking through this mind and body, he would receive some of the very remarkable ideas. The brain is the first point where obstruction begins to register because it is the point of contact with wrong ideas. Wrong ideas register most quickly and intensely in the brain structure because that is the field of atomic activity. However, the attention held upon the I am present so releases the power of perfection, which is within the electron at the center of the atom, that the wrong ideas and obstruction to the light simply dissolve and destroy.
I wanna comment on that, y'all. God, what we actually read in here pages ago, what Saint Germain said, God hides out within the atom, right? And so through the power of the spoken word, atoms are automatically drawn to the power of the spoken word. It's automatic. But which words do you use? Do you use divine words? Are you cursing? You know? Are you lying? And it's like that. Are you using decrees? You know? It blew my mind when Saint Germain said on the page just before this, I am the conquering presence, and I command this iron presence to govern perfectly my mind, home, affairs, and world. He said that's the most powerful decree of all. I'm like, I got decrees a page long. I'm like, I thought that is the most powerful decree of all. And when I start crushing it, the first thing I'm doing, I'm going an hour constantly repeating that. Everything in my life start changing. Cars getting picked up, repossessed, getting ready to be dispossessed. All of this stuff was happening to me. Ready to lose my land. All of this stuff was happening. And once I started saying, look, what am I playing? What am I playing with over here? I got the tools and I'm not using it. When I was in my former life, living a gangster life, I had a device that could tell me if my phone was being tapped. And I did not use it. How stupid is that? And the police are listening on me. How stupid is that? But even greater than that, we got the very tools to become our God self, and then we don't use them. And some of us think if we use it once a day, you know, like we do in the morning, 3 hours, we're good. We're good to go. Well, we are good to go. But we can take it to a whole nother level. If we decide, look, I'm going to say that decree right there 1,000 times a day. Now we're talking. We're beginning to build that muscle, right? Like lifting weights. Just like lifting weights. We keep lifting weights, we regulate it, we do it every day. That arm is going to get bigger. That muscle is going to get bigger. So it is even more powerful with this, especially if you got your crystal in your hand and you banging out these decrees. Saint Germain said what? If you do decrees for America, that's why I got them in our decrees in the morning. Every day, I'll guarantee you ascension. That page I got of decrees take 1 minute and 20 seconds to do. 1 minute, 20 seconds. You mean you can get ascension by just doing those decrees once a day, and we don't take advantage of that? I would call that betraying ourselves.
Yeah, I want to go back to the part where we were talking about doing the traveling. Now,
Ask Dave to mute his mic. Thank you.
yeah, I wanted to ask about the part where they were talking about doing the traveling. So, do you manifest that ability to travel through meditation?
You manifest it in your waking state by practicing the technique. This technique is given. As a matter of fact, I was listening to something on YouTube where this guy was practicing it in his car. It takes him. He's going from northern to southern California. That ride is like, I don't know, 8 hours or something like that, 6 hours. I know when I did it, because I wanted to drive on California 1 highway because it's so beautiful. And this is what this guy was doing. He did it in 2 hours, not speeding, just mentally taking the car with him to travel through time and space. Now, he's taking the car with him, not speeding, y'all. And they talked about it. They were talking about it in this documentary. You want to get the book, Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East, and they explain that technique. And then practice it. Because Arnold Schwarzenegger was skinny when they first got him, but he had the body type to be Miss Universe. So he crushed it. He didn't play around with it. He lived bodybuilding. And look at what he became. It's just like that with this spiritual techniques. Only thing, the rewards are far greater, far greater. It's a matter of practicing. And when you see that you're practicing and things are not changing, then you got to look at what you're doing. Where are you existing? Are you existing in the ego? Are you existing in your God self? And you know you're existing in your God self because you're not doing any of the negative things. You're practicing the yamas and niyamas. The 5 things that you do and the 5 things that you do not do, along with many of the other things that we've already talked about and Saint Germain talked about in this book. Now, we're going to get to play of consciousness, and you're going to go into another aspect of sadhana, where you're crushing the game. You're not playing at all. You're waking up doing thousands of mantras a day. There was a time I did the mantra 20,000 times a day. Now, when you're doing it like that, you're in the house. You're crushing the game. And at that time, I didn't even know about decrees. Now we know about prayers, decrees, mantras, chanting, meditation, and other things. Silence, celibacy, speaking the truth all the time. This is the way you crush the game. And then asking God, look, give me help. I'm in this human state, but I want to be with you. I need help. Sister Lucretia, you got a question?
Thank you, Baba. I do. 2 questions. Can you repeat the name of that book? Life and...
The Life and Teachings of the Masters of Far East. Matter of fact, let me get it so y'all have a look at it. By Brad Sterling, something like that. Let me get it right here. This is a picture of it. This is how it looks. One of the volumes are missing. I lent it to my brother, and we haven't been in contact lately. And he's upset at me, and I want to speak to that too. When we are upset at our family members, we get more upset at our family members than we do with our own friends. And friends are often more closer to us than our family members. But we got to remember that God gave us these people as inborn friends, and our family member inborn. And we start having negative feelings about them and attitudes about them and not forgiving them for what they do. We're bringing this on ourselves. Our friends are like our huckleberries. My favorite song is Moon River. And the lyrics of that is so powerful. It's like, I sung this song when I was leaving the ashram for some reason. The first time I was in India, we were there almost 2 years. And for what reason, I kind of knew I was going off to experience life on another level. Just kind of like, I don't know, regress. And I sang that song. And, it's like, your huckleberry friend. That's one of the lines in that. My huckleberry friend, Moon River. Waiting around the bend. It's like when we were kids, we had these huckleberry friends. Oftentimes, they were our family members. We did adventures with them. We got in trouble with them. We did stuff with them. We loved them. Where are they now in our lives? Where is your huckleberry friend now in your life? We got to remember this. God gave us our family to be that with us. And we're so close to them that we feel that we could do these things to offend or stop talking to them, not wanting to be with them, not loving them. This is a downfall. But this is the book, Herukuti, this Life and Teachings of the Masters of Far East, 6-volume work, page turner, reads like butter. Anyway, I ain't meant to go off so long, Sister Kim.
All right. This is my one more question, please?
Yeah.
My second part? Okay. So I know we spoke earlier about saying curse words. You know, when people, or when we exchange a word like shoot, when something happens, or dang. So the energy is still there. Is not saying the word the thing, or is it the energy as well? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Makes perfect sense. So let me drop a little on this. When you issue a word, atoms are automatically drawn to that word. It's automatic. It's like electromagnetic. It's automatic. And what they bring to you is that word back to you in the form of an act, an object, or an event. Now, let's say you're saying what you may think is not a curse word, right? Like shit. If it brings that back to you in your life, you know, how would it manifest? Let's just think about it, how it manifests. If you're saying MS, right? You're saying that, you know, with intensity now. So usually these words are said with intensity. How will it bring that back to you in the life? Because the universe is not thinking that you just talking. It ain't like that at all. You know, if you say that MF, you know, I can't stand that MF, I hate that. What do you think you are bringing into your life? When we criticize, condemn, judge, blame people, the reason they're telling us not to do it is because when you criticize somebody, you are forcing those qualities. This is what Saint Germain says. You are forcing those qualities into your own self. And the next thing you're going to find, not only are you a hypocrite, but you have those same qualities. The qualities that you see in others that you're criticizing, now you get. How did you get them? By criticizing other people. You're forcing those qualities into your character and personality. This is what's happening. So if you're cursing and you're saying various words like this, does it sound beautiful? Would you curse to a saint? Would you curse in front of a saint? Would you do that to God? When you pray, do you curse? You say, God, that MF, you know, he did this and that to me. You don't do it. Do you lie when you pray? You don't lie when you pray because you know you're praying to God and you know this, you know, God knows. So what you have to keep in mind is the power of the spoken word. What is it? In the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So if that's the case, we are God. We got the Word. And if we use the Word wrongly, don't think that through some hocus-pocus way, it's not going to come into our life and affect us with its energy. If you say God bless you to someone, 60% of those blessings come directly back to you. It's like this. It's like this. This is a science. We're living in a scientific zone.
Baba, I get that. The way I was wording my question was, you know, if you run into the wall and you bang your arm, if one bangs their arm and they say, you know, ouch or darn, when you used to say something else, I'm saying if you're not using curse words, but you're switching the curse word for another word that is not a curse word, but the energy is still there. Does it matter?
Yes, it does matter. It does matter. How about this? Let's say you say you get hurt, right? And you train yourself every time you get hurt, right? Walking into a wall, somebody punch you. You say Ram, or you say Allah, or you say Jesus, or you say Nam Myoho Q, or you know, like this, and you train yourself to do this, right?
Right.
Now let's take it to another level. Let's say every time you get hurt, you mention the name of God, but this time that you're getting hurt, you're being killed. You know, like when Gandhi was killed, what did he say? Ram. When they shot him, he said, Ram. They shot him again, Ram, Ram. When you say the name of God at the moment of death, you go and you become God. You go directly with God. This is the science of that. So would it be more advantageous to say, damn, or ouch, or this, that, or the other, than to train yourself to say the name of God when you get hurt?
I say, brother.
You see what I'm saying? Because there's going to come a time that you're going to get hurt, and that hurt is going to take your life. Imagine if you practice the name of God every time you got hurt, just so when the time comes, the name of God is on your lip at the moment of death. You will go to God. You will become God at that time. This is what the scriptures say. This is what the guru has taught, right? Now let's check this one out. I knew this for a long time. And I was working in the ashram, and it was right next to a golf course. And it was in a Jewish community, right? Somebody snuck onto that golf course, and I was working with some other devotees, and I heard a bullet come. Now, while this was happening, all right, while this was happening, I was saying the mantra. We're out there doing the work, right, doing the Guru Seva, but somebody shot at us to kill us, right? I heard, I'm saying the mantra now, right? I heard the bullet cutting through the air. I just heard it cutting through. And all I could think about was my life at the time. And guess what? The mantra stopped. None of us got hit. It went past all of us, but I heard the bullet cutting through the air. And instead of me holding deep to the mantra that I was saying at that moment, it stopped because fear came into my mind and not the name of God. Even though I was saying the name of God at that moment. This is how powerful you got to get with having the consciousness of God with you at all times. You know, that could have been an opportunity. Had that bullet hit me and killed me, the name of God was not on my lips. But if I had gone into a deeper state of humility, practice humility more. When we're younger, we're arrogant most of the time. We're in our ego. Even though we're living in a holy environment, we're trying to get out of it, right? And I knew all about this, sure. I knew all about it, but I was living dangerously, and I'm like, yo, because you're living like this, you need to make sure you got the name of God on your lips. And I mean, I was busting the mantra out. I haven't built up enough momentum that when I thought death was near, that the name of God was on my lips. Like Gandhi, when they killed him, and he just said, Ram, Ram, Ram. This is where we go with the word, the power of the spoken word, especially when we know that atoms are automatically attracted to our words, no matter what they are. We train ourselves in a godlike state, we crushing the game, man. We're in the house.
That's a jewel, Baba. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I agree.
Thank you for that question. Sister Kim? Oh, teacher, my teacher. Oh, captain, my captain.
Okay, so on page 191, I was at the very bottom of the page where it says question answer. So the question says, Don, where are you going? And St. Germain says, to the Golden City. And from this time on until 3 weeks after New Year's Day is the time of great rejoicing in the Golden City, for it gives a great opportunity to convey into the physical world through the light and sound rays its almighty radiance. If humanity could understand and appreciate this fact, remarkable things could take place, but that does not prevent individuals who can grasp it from receiving its remarkable benefit. Now, the Golden City, I just want to make sure I'm sure that I'm clear about it. It's one of the etheric cities that ascended masters can go to for like retreats, or is this one of the cities for retreats?
Yes. Well, it's a city where on another plane of existence, like Shambhala, or maybe even Shambhala, He's saying golden cities, and they love to put things in code, you know, because our technology has become so advanced that, you know, humanity can enter into these places. The technology of the sinister forces or the satanic Illuminati is so advanced at this point in time since Roswell, since the crash in Roswell. They've been taking that technology. They've been getting technology from extraterrestrial sources, so forth and so on. When we were talking about traveling, he was talking about two types of traveling. Traveling in conveyances like airplanes and hovercraft, and being able to travel on our own through our higher bodies, taking our physical body with us. So when they say things, a lot of times they say things in code, or they don't say it at all, because humanity can take technology to a God state. Like we can create AI, and then find that AI is operating like gods over us, even though we have created AI ourselves. You see what I mean, Sister Kim?
Yes, and
So,
you know, I said that that it's for the retreats, but it says these etheric cities are places where souls of light, or souls who have the assistance of the ascended masters, can go between embodiments during sleep. And the cities are intact at the etheric level.
yes,
as we were in the golden age.
And check it out. I gave you all in the evening decrees, in the nighttime decrees, that you asked for to go to the retreat in the sun. There's a belt around the sun that you go to. Did you to do this for you when you get into these deep sleep states, because, you know, when you're in deep sleep, how do you know you're in deep sleep? If you're not thinking, how do you know that you're in deep sleep? Because when you are there, you're above the mind, right? You're above the mind. You know because you are there. If you are in certain states of consciousness in sleep, you can contact your mighty I am presence. In fact, in a somnambulistic state, or what they're calling the subconscious mind, which is your God mind, right? You bring forth whatever you want like that. That's why Napoleon Hill says, say that your goals, which I turned into the decree goals because you put the name of God in it, the first thing you do in the morning, because you're in that somnambulistic state. The last thing you do at night, because you're in that somnambulistic state. The state before waking consciousness and sleep. In that state, you automatically contact the subconscious mind. You automatically can bring about in your life what you want in that somnambulistic state, the state between waking and sleeping. Now, if you can be conscious in that sleep state, you can do great miracles. You can, oh man, you can manifest, which is the nature of consciousness. Consciousness manifests. And this is what we want to do. We want to manifest. That's why we're doing the prayers. That's why we're doing the decrees. That's why we're doing the meditation. That's why we're working for masters. You know, this purifies us. So that when we say words, they manifest. When we're living life in the right way, the things that we do, they manifest. Because we're clear. You know, as we clean out our system, we clean out our aura, we clean out our body, we clean out our mind, we are the perfect tool to manifest. The God tool. That's us. Okay, my sister.
Okay, so on page 192, that first paragraph where it's in italics, the first full paragraph, starting with a very simple theme. The very simple thing, if students could only understand and apply it, it is absolutely keep the mind off every personality and know only the I am, the only presence there. It would open the doors so wide. Love and reaching out to an ascended being enables radiation to be given that would not otherwise be possible. One cannot long interfere with the progress or growth of another. For if the one obstructing does not release and relax his hold upon the other who is ready to go higher, the obstructing one would be removed by his own action. If one continues to hold steadfast and sincerely to the light, personalities will be swept aside or harmoniously disconnected from the individual's world.
Wow.
So that
I went to church on you there, right? Yeah.
So at this state of growth, or rather expansion of the light, it is necessary to know I am the active presence of all channels of distribution of all things acting for my good. When the thought comes, this is all I have. Nip it in the bud and say, I am the opulence of God in my hands and use today. This is the time to stamp it right out of your mind and feelings. And this must be held as a sacred silence within each individual. Take this as a sacred, reverent knowledge to be used. When you take from the I am self, it is impossible for you to take anything from any personality which rightfully belongs to that one. You are decreeing for your world, so you cannot take from anyone when knowing your own law. I am the presence acting everywhere. There's no possibility of the vision of the I am presence. And then they go into the decree. If you need money, say, I am the active presence, bringing this money into my hands and use instantly. It is so important to get away from the importance of money. Okay, so it means it is but a means of exchange, but do not give it power. Put all your power back with God, and when you command, no matter what it is you want, you will have all power instantly on hand to bring forth the fulfillment of your decree.
I want to say something here. I was in need of money. I was in need of changing my life. I'm holding on to jewels like in a treasure chest and not using them. And not only this, the decrees we should be saying is at least 4 decrees we should be saying as much as we can, thousands of times a day if we can. The number 1 decree, I am the conquering presence. This money decree, I am the active presence, bringing money into my hands and use instantly. How long does it take to say that? That's not 15 seconds. What is that, 3 seconds or something, 2?
Yeah.
I am the active presence, bringing money into my hands and use instantly. At what point do you think saying this, that's going to manifest in your life? How many times you need to say that decree for it to manifest in your life? We got great faith in our negative energy and things that we do, right? Negatively. We know that that's going to happen. Why don't we have even greater faith in the positive things? We need money all the time in this zone. What's going to happen if we say this 10,000 times a day? How long do you think it takes us to say that 10,000 times a day? And then what about our healing, especially as we get older? You know they're poisoning us. They're poisoning the air. They're poisoning the food. They're poisoning the water. They're putting rat poison in the water called fluoride, telling us it's going to make our teeth better, and all of us got cavities throughout our mouth. Then when they put the cavities in there, they're saying it's silver, but it's amalgam, poisoning us even further, right? So, we got to fight back. And the way to fight back is to use these decrees. We should be doing decrees constantly. The most powerful decrees for money, decrees for our health, decrees for whatever you need in your life. So many people are suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia. Wasn't like that when I was a kid, right? They may have gotten a little senile, but that was where it went. Mm-hmm. And it didn't go beyond that. You didn't lose your life because you couldn't even remember who your child was, right? So what do? You say the decree for the brain. I'm the quickening of this, my brain. I'm the quickening of the cells in this, my brain structure, causing it to experience the intelligent direction from my mighty inner presence. I'm the quickening of the cells in this, my brain structure, right? Constantly. Because if you do that, it's going to manifest. Why I have those memory decrees on a whole page of memory decrees? Because they're coming after our mind. If they get our mind, they got us. And don't they have our mind by addicting us to television and now the internet and social media, doing the most ridiculous things, telling people everything about you, completely in the ego. Most of it is a lie. Mm-hmm. I'm living this fabulous life, y'all. I'm over here. I'm going to eat over here. You might as well have an ankle bracelet on you. They're watching you every moment. You say something in your house. I'm going to get right to you, Amina. You say something in your house. Next thing you know, you see a commercial coming on TV or commercial coming in your phone. Mm-hmm. They got us, y'all. And we need to be aware they're tracking us. Why are they tracking us? Because we are God-like beings that are on the verge of waking up. So they're spraying stuff in the air so that we don't wake up. Sister Amina?
Yes, thank you for that, Brother Lalji and Sister Kim. I had a question about these decrees. Are they in that book that you suggested, the one that you're reading from, or do you have a list of them that you can share with us so that we can get the verbiage right?
I got books of them. I got at least 5 decree books here. And I was just wearing out these books is why I typed them up and put them online, and I just don't like destroying my books. So I was carrying them around with me, doing an hour and 20 minutes of decrees every day. And I just wore these books out. So I started typing them up and putting them online. So yes, I have decrees. I have discourses on what the decrees mean, also mantras. I sent Sister Tiffany, a whole book on Japa Yoga, which is the science of repeating the name of God, or mantras. Mantras are extremely powerful. So yes, so you got my number. Yes. Call me, and okay. I'll send you. I got probably 350 pages that over the 17, 18, 19 months that we've been working on this, of mantras and decrees and meditation, the effects of it, and like this. So call me. I'll send these things to you. Sister Tiffany?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, I was just going to say, with the chemtrails and them poisoning our food and our water, we can use these decrees to clear out that poison.
That's right.
What I want to say. Yeah, because we are on our way to becoming these strong, powerful gods. So no matter what they try to do, as we continue to say the decrees, we can still cancel out their plans.
Without a doubt. And also, the covetous. Remember, the covetous, the protection decree. We start out with the first decrees that we say, the tube of light, so that our being is in the tube of light, right? Then the next one is the wall of blue flame, and then the violet flame. The moment you speak them, you are evoking them into existence. Mm-hmm. See, have faith in this. You can do this. Like, check it out. Right now, I can say some words like God bless you, and you feel I can say, well, I can take it to another level. God bless you, your family, your friends, your dreams and goals. This is going to manifest in your life. Now, I can say some words that immediately turn everybody in this Zoom thing, turn you off, just like that, by saying some hurtful words. And we know they're going to affect your feelings immediately, the moment I say them. This is the power of the spoken word. We could easily hurt somebody with words, and we know it. We can say something, and the next thing you know, this Zoom link would be empty. It's like the same way we can say things that will make people feel love. Yeah, how many times you heard a song that just put you in a wonderful space? Then there's times you hear a song that just gives you a headache, like heavy metal, just gives you a headache. It's just like, oh God, please turn it off. Look at the lyrics in most of the songs that we're hearing now in rap. Are they uplifting?
Horrible. A hot mess.
You see what I'm saying? But people are dancing to them and rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
They're in that zone. Yeah. It's a negative zone, but they're there. And the good rap that's out there, powerful good rap, they don't get played, y'all.
No.
But they don't take you down. You dig? So who's controlling that media? The satanic Illuminati is controlling it. And it is to our advantage to realize what's really going on. It's not some happenstance situation where people are thinking, you know, oh man, look at what happened to society. No, they are making this happen. They're making it happen for our destruction. We got to be aware of it and flip the script. We got the tools, use the tools. What are the tools? Prayer. But the difference between prayer and decrees, Saint Germain said, is different between night and day. Prayer, you're asking God to do something for you or for someone else, right? Or to bless the planet or whatever. Decrees, you are acting as God, manifesting this through the power of the spoken words. Now, you may be in the baby stage of doing decrees or the baby stage of your God-conscious ability. But as you move along doing these decrees, you do not stay a baby. Because you are no longer the babe of Christ, but the full manifestation. In fact, there is a decree that we have that I kind of like took down because I was shrinking everything, that is like that. You know, I'm no longer the babe of Christ, but the master moving in full power and manifestation. The more you say it, the more it is with you, the more you bring it into your existence. This is the difference between decrees and prayer. But what are we doing? Decrees, prayers, mantras, chanting, meditation, service to God or the guru. These are our tools. Correcting our personality, becoming more compassionate, becoming, freeing ourselves from criticism, condemnation, judgment, and blame. Stop lying. Even now, if I see the clock and it says 5:29, I'd say 5:29. I don't say 5:30. Because it's not the truth from what I see, even though time is relative. It's not the truth from what I see. So get that deep. If you see a lie coming up, oftentimes we're lying to impress people. Most of the time, we're lying to impress people. It's in our hands. It's in our hands.
And also, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to have a question.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a question or comment, but like Simeon Toko, when I was reading his story, how they tried to kill him so many times, but he was able to put his body back together, piece his body back together. That would be amazing to be able to get to that point, but I know it takes a lot of work, a lot of spiritual work.
But you can do it in this very lifetime. See, that's the key that we're letting go of. We can do it in this very lifetime if we're really going to rock and roll. If we're really playing the game, if we're playing for keeps, if we're saying, I'm not playing no more. I'm not jabbing around. I'm gonna come on with the come on. I'm gonna get down with the get down. I'm not playing. If you wake up with the name of God's on your lip, you setting out your day like that. If you wake up saying, you know what, I know I suffer from criticism. I know I suffer from lying. I know I suffer from lust. I know I suffer from greed. And we decide, take these things on one at a time. Next thing you don't suffer from criticism, condemnation, judgment, blame. You don't suffer from lying. You don't suffer from cursing. You're not suffering from the negative things that we know are negative. Some of us steal. Look, and this could be a psychological malady that plagues you because you got raped. This is one of the effects of getting raped, stealing. My sister, who's really strong character, got raped when she was just a kid. As a matter of fact, all three of my sisters got raped when they were just a kid. This happened when I was 12, and I was older than all of them. But this is a common thing that happens to women on this planet. 1 in 3 women in America get raped. 2.5 of black women in America get raped. It's rare to meet a sister that ain't raped. One of the manifestations of being raped is you steal. Even though you don't need, you will steal. How do you rid yourself of that? The first thing you got to say to yourself, did I rape somebody in another lifetime and this is karma coming back to me? Is it going to be easy to do? It ain't. Bless the person who committed this crime to you. You know what's even worse if it was a parent, somebody you really love, and it happens all the time, or a sibling, and in this wicked world is pervasive. But how do we get to be on the most wicked planet in the universe? From what the Ascended Master say, this is the most wicked planet in the universe. What kind of karma did we build up throughout eternity that we land here? Whatever it was, believe me, things don't just happen. Things happen just. Now, some of us have been on ascended planes and we decided to come back here to do the work. But we still got the karmas that allowed us to even come back here to do the work. Jesus came here. Y'all saw what happened to him, right? Remember that movie that Mel Gibson made? They blackballed him because of that movie. They destroyed his career because he showed that the Jews betrayed him, even though Jesus was a Jew. Look at how they tortured him before they nailed him up to the cross. Why did he deserve that? Why could he even get that kind of karma? This is how life is, y'all. This is how life, and it wasn't, you mentioned Simeon Togo, okay? Hey, somebody who comes here and they only do good, and yet they get treated like worse than an animal? Something to think about. As we move along in our work, as we move along in correcting ourselves, believe me, the sinister forces are going to come after you. That's why you need these covetous, you know, the tube of light, the wall of blue flame, the violet flame. You should be waking up with these things every morning so that you got the covetous around you, or what? Protective energy around you. This energy can become so powerful, even a bullet can't get through it. What's the tube of light? Mighty I am present. Enfold me now in my mighty magic electronic tube of ascending back from light substance. Make it so powerful that no human creation can pass through. See that it keeps me invisible, invincible, and invulnerable to everything but the almighty perfection, and infinitely sensitive to thee and thy divine perfection. Almighty I am. The wall of blue flame. Beloved Mighty I am present. Great Sanat Kumara. Keep me in every person, place, condition, and thing under the radiation of the Ascended Master Saint Germain, surrounded with the invincible wall of blue flame outside the tube of light as added protection until all are free in the ascension. We thank you. Thou dost always answer every call. Now you got protection on top of protection. The protection decrees that we do in the morning, that we did this morning, you know, 3 powerful others. So it's like this. There's this guy, his name is John Rodriguez. He was born in a satanic family, and he hated Christians, you know, growing up because he's born in that, right? And he went out to cast spells on them. And he tells you in his book, he says, when I went to cast spells on them, I couldn't pass. There was a circle of fire around these people singing songs in their neighborhood. This is in the Bronx. Singing songs in their neighborhood and all like this. He couldn't get past that fire. Because why? They were protected. And he tells you himself, he's a conformed Satanist. And he was powerful too. He could kill you from afar, right? He says, if you don't have any protection around you, we could take you down and your family like nobody's business. They go in the hospital. They would go in the astral plane, decreeing spells, bolts of bedevilment in places like this. This is what they do. And they're not playing. We sitting back, you know, with our higher education, believing that the Satan and, you know, Lucifer, these people don't exist. That's something you learn in the scriptures, and then it's all poppycock, and it ain't real. And they want you to believe that. Sister Lucretia, you got another question?
This is your friendly timekeeper saying we're about 5 minutes out.
Okay, great. Okay, Captain, my captain.
Okay. So at the bottom of the page, that the next decree.
Which page?
Okay, so I'm sorry, on page 193.
Okay.
Okay, so the second to the last paragraph, the vibration within so the vibration within any element is always the breath of God, eternally self-sustained. All pulsation is the breath of God. The simple consciousness that I am the presence of perfect health is the breath of God acting. And then there's a decree following that. I am the presence of forgiveness in the mind and heart of every one of God's children. This releases.
Sorry.
Okay. This releases enormous vibratory action after its time. Hold the following with vividness. I am the pure mind of God.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's so powerful. You know,
Yeah.
that's so powerful. I did. Continue. We're going to close out with the benediction.
Okay. So on page 194, the benediction. Thou infinite, mighty, personal presence, Jesus Christ, we give praise and thanks for thy radiance, for thy intelligent rays, for thy qualifying presence. We give praise and thanks that we are conscious of the special radiance at this time, and that we may, through the loving open door of our consciousness, receive its mighty presence.
Ashe. All right. I want to end this with what my guru would do all the time. Jaden, can you hand me my red chanting book, the Nectar of Chanting? And I want to say this. Now we're reading this story. We're reading the Ramayana on Saturdays. We're doing the Ramayana, right, y'all? These negative beings that's causing all this trouble, the guy that stole Lord Ram's wife and all that, these are his devotees. These are people that were cast down from the highest realm of consciousness because they slipped up there. And they were cursed by Sanat Kumar and his brothers to come to earth. Most people are cursed coming here. This is a place where you're cursed to come to, right? Now, these are beings in the highest realm. So I'm saying this for a reason. Don't think because you get to a certain state in consciousness and you're acting good and you're doing it and you're moving. These beings are all ascended masters. These beings look like God. They have the same power of God. They live in the same world of God. They have the same ability of God. But they got cursed by other beings that they look down on. Because they were also in that same state. They were siddhas who are God-conscious men. When we get to the state of our attainment, do not think you can fall from that state. We are the exact examples of falling from the higher state. We're not going up to something we never attained. We're going back to where we came from, being that God-conscious state, being God beings. We lost our station. I like to read this chant at the end of every one of our discourses because my guru would have us do it every time we were with him. And he was doing this chant to his guru. And what is it basically saying? He's saying, may we always stay in love with each other. May we always stay friends. Now, these are divine beings chanting that they always stay in love, that there's no enmity to us. And it's in Sanskrit. And you know, we must always be on guard of our divinity. And if we are not, we will fall from that high realm. So let me read it. And let me chant it. Nityanandaya Gurave Shisha Samsara Harine Bhaktakaye Dedehaya Namaste Chittaratmane Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nish Prapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Sahana Vavaktu Sahano Bunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavati Tamastu Ma Vivishavahe Om Shanti 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 Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Everyone, I was glad to be able to be of service, to be with y'all today. I like to see y'all as my friends, a very valuable thing to have in this world. And I want to say, God bless you, your family, your friends, your dreams, and your goals. And God bless. So we see y'all next Sunday. and we will rock and roll again. So, we finished that chapter. Sister Lucretia, you got the next chapter, right?
I got it.
All right. All right, y'all. So, I'll see you on Saturday for the Ramayana.
You'll see me before then.
Cool. So tomorrow
I'm signing on tomorrow morning too, Bob Lalji.
All right, cool.
As am I.
Okay. Same
All
time,
right.
same station. All right, y'all.
Thanks.
Good one.
Lalji,
Bye.
Yes.
did you send, you said you have night prayers. Are they on the original prayers you sent?
No. These are some new prayers. I'm taking this to another level because I was doing this with y'all. We was watching it for 3 hours a clip. And that's all we did was the practices. So I was taking it to a more advanced level where I was going to show y'all a different level of meditation, a different level of prayer. The decrees are already on the highest level we can get to. They're doing these exact same decrees in the Ascended Master Ashram, that you can't even get into. So, yeah, this is where we're going. Tomorrow we'll have them. And, all right, so tomorrow we'll start with those prayers. And, it's going to be like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right?
So that's what time